Ever heard that saying, like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself? Well, when it comes to innovation, that might not be the best advice. We're diving into this idea, and it's kind of surprising that having your team, spread out could actually be the secret to unlocking, like, their most innovative ideas.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Totally.
We tend to think of innovation as this like magical thing that happens when everyone's crammed together in a room, just bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah, yeah.
But what we're learning is that physical proximity isn't the magic ingredient it's often made out to be.
Yeah, it's like that image of the tech startup huddled together in a garage, changing the world one line of code at a time. But we have some research from MIT's Digital Innovation Lab that throws a wrench in that whole garage myth.
Absolutely. Their 2024 study, Distributed Innovation Patterns, found that companies with distributed teams can be up to 28% more innovative than their co-located counterparts.
28%.
Yeah.
That's wild. So it's not just about being trendy or adapting to the times. Distributed teams might actually have a competitive edge when it comes to innovation. But why is that? What's going on here?
A big part of it comes down to the diversity of perspectives. When you have people working from different locations, backgrounds, and even time zones, they're naturally exposed to a wider range of ideas and ways of thinking.
Right.
That mix of perspectives can be incredibly fertile ground for like fresh, innovative solutions.
Makes sense. It's like that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
You need that friction of different ideas to get the sparks flying. But, and this feels important, having a bunch of diverse voices is just the first step, right?
You got it. Imagine having all those brilliant minds, but no way to like capture, organize, or build on their ideas. It'd be like having a symphony orchestra without a conductor. That's where having the right framework comes in. It helps you harness the power of those diverse perspectives and turn them into actual innovation.
And I'm guessing this is where the Spark framework enters the chat. We've heard a lot about this framework being a total game changer for distributed teams.
It really is. Think of Spark as your like innovation playbook. It provides a clear structure to help teams generate, cultivate, and execute those game-changing ideas no matter where they are in the world.
Okay, let's break this down. Spark, each letter stands for a key element of successful distributed innovation.
Right. And we'll go through each element, but remember, it's not about rigidly following a checklist. Think of these elements as interconnected, working together to create a dynamic environment where innovation can, flourish.
Got it. It's a framework, not a straitjacket. So let's start at the beginning. S, what does the S in Spark stand for?
S is for structured serendipity.
Structured serendipity? That sounds like a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it? Like, how do you structure something that's supposed to be spontaneous?
It's a common misconception. You don't want to, like, squash serendipity, but you can't just sit back and wait for it to happen magically either. It's about intentionally designing an environment and processes that encourage those chance encounters and unexpected connections to happen more organically.
So it's less about forcing those aha moments and more about setting the stage for them to happen.
Exactly. Think virtual coffee breaks where people from different teams can connect randomly, or cross-time zone brainstorming sessions with rotating participants. Even something as simple as having a random connection program where your communication platform pairs up people from different departments for a quick chat can lead to unexpected breakthroughs.
That's brilliant. It's like hacking the system to make serendipity work for you. But structured serendipity is just one piece of the puzzle, right? What comes next in this Spark framework?
P, which stands for process evolution. This is where we start to look at the systems and tools that support the entire innovation lifecycle, from idea generation to, like, implementation.
Okay, so less about sticky notes on a physical whiteboard and more about embracing digital solutions that work for a distributed team.
You got it. Think digital whiteboarding tools for brainstorming, project management software to keep everyone on track, and asynchronous communication platforms where people can contribute ideas on their own time, regardless of location or time zone.
And this is where I imagine a lot of companies, even those embracing remote work, might stumble a bit. It's not enough to just have the tools you need to implement them strategically and make sure everyone knows how to use them effectively.
You're absolutely right. You could have the most cutting-edge project management software in the world, but if no one on your team knows how to use it, or worse, if they don't see its value, it's not going to magically make your team more innovative.
It's like buying a fancy new oven thinking it'll turn you into a Michelin star chef.
Exactly.
You got to know how to use it.
Yeah.
So we've got structured serendipity, process evolution, what's next? We're moving on to the A.
Right. A stands for autonomous experimentation.
And A stands for autonomous experimentation. I'm feeling this one already.
It's a favorite for a reason. Giving your team the freedom to experiment without the fear of failure is crucial for fostering a culture of innovation.
It's very much a trust the process, trust your people approach. But how do you actually put that into practice? Especially in a distributed environment where you might not have those everyday interactions.
It starts with creating a culture that sees failure as a learning opportunity, not a career-ending move. Think about setting aside specific innovation budgets that teams can use to explore new ideas without the pressure of immediate ROI.
I love that. It's giving permission to get creative and try new things, even if they don't always work out. Because let's be real, not every idea is going to be a home run. In fact, some of the biggest breakthroughs come from those happy accidents that happen when you're willing to take a risk.
Exactly. And you can encourage that risk-taking by celebrating those failures, not just the successes. Some companies even have failure festivals where teams share their biggest flops and what they learned from them.
Failure festivals, that's amazing. It normalizes stumbling a bit, which is essential for real innovation to happen. Okay, we're on a roll with the Spark framework. 2 more letters to go. What does the R stand for?
R is for remote collaboration tools. This one might seem obvious, but it's crucial. You need to equip your distributed team with the technology they need to collaborate seamlessly, regardless of location.
So we're talking about the usual suspects like video conferencing and project management software, but also maybe some next-level tools designed specifically for innovation.
Absolutely. Think visual collaboration platforms where teams can brainstorm and build ideas together in real time no matter where they are. Or digital whiteboarding tools that go beyond just taking notes, allowing for interactive brainstorming and idea organization. And let's not forget about sophisticated idea management systems that help teams track the progress of innovations, from those initial sparks of inspiration all the way to implementation.
It's about making sure that just because you're not in the same physical space doesn't mean you can't have that feeling of shared purpose and creative energy. Okay, we've made it to the final element of the Spark framework. K? This is the grand finale, the bow on top,
I think you've covered all the metaphors, but yes, K is for knowledge amplification.
So it's not enough to just have amazing ideas floating around.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that knowledge is shared and amplified throughout the organization.
Right. It's about creating a culture of transparency and continuous learning. Think innovation wikis or knowledge repositories where teams can document their processes, insights, and even those failed experiments so that others can learn from them.
It's like creating a library of innovation where everyone in the company has access to the collective wisdom and experience of the team. And it prevents those reinventing the wheel scenarios that can happen when knowledge isn't shared effectively.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of those informal knowledge-sharing opportunities. Regular cross-pollination sessions where teams from different departments share their latest projects, or even company-wide learning festivals where innovation takes center stage.
Learning festivals. Okay, I'm sold. That sounds way more inspiring than the typical company conference. So we've established that distributed teams have the potential to be innovation powerhouses. And we've broken down the Spark framework, which gives you a tangible roadmap for making that happen. But I'm curious to see this in action. Do you have any examples of companies that are really knocking it out of the park when it comes to distributed innovation?
Absolutely. There's a company called InnovateCo that has been making waves in their industry. What's remarkable is that they have a fully distributed team of 400 people spread out across the globe.
Hold up, 400 people.
Yeah.
And they're managing to innovate effectively with that many people across all those time zones. Okay, they've got my attention. Tell me everything.
Well, their secret weapon is that they've fully embraced the Spark framework. But what really makes them stand out is how they've operationalized it through a concept they call innovation time zones.
Innovation time zones. That sounds intriguing and maybe a little confusing. Walk me through, what does that even mean?
It's brilliantly simple, actually. They've strategically scheduled these overlapping 4-hour blocks where teams from different time zones come together specifically for brainstorming and creative collaboration.
So instead of those time zone differences being a barrier to communication, they're actually leveraging them to their advantage.
Exactly. By intentionally designing these innovation time zones, they ensure that diverse perspectives are constantly colliding, leading to more creative solutions. But here's the real secret sauce, and this is something they emphasize in their company-wide training. Their asynchronous idea development system is where the true magic happens.
Okay, now you're just teasing me. What is this system and how does it actually work in practice?
Imagine a digital platform where anyone, regardless of their location or schedule, can contribute ideas, build on each other's thoughts, and refine concepts over time. It takes the pressure off needing to have those aha moments in real time.
So it's like a 247 brainstorming session that never sleeps.
You got it. This system allows them to tap into the full cognitive diversity of their 400-person team. An engineer in Seattle might have a breakthrough idea at 3 a.m. their time and can add it to the platform. Then a marketer in London can wake up, review the idea, and add their perspective before their workday even begins.
That's incredible. It democratizes the innovation process so that everyone has an equal opportunity to contribute regardless of their location or their sleep schedule.
And it allows ideas to breathe and evolve naturally without the pressure of real-time decision-making. This leads to a richer, more nuanced ideation process.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together. They're using this Spark framework as a foundation, but then they're layering on these innovative approaches like innovation time zones and this asynchronous idea development system to really tailor it to their distributed workforce. But how do they measure the success of all of this? Are they seeing actual results?
They are, and they're very data-driven in their approach. Remember those key metrics we talked about earlier? Ideas generated per quarter, implementation rate, time to prototype. InnovateCo tracks all of that meticulously within their system. This gives them valuable data on what's working and where they need to adjust their approach.
So they're not just innovating for innovation's sake. They're constantly iterating and refining their processes based on data and feedback. I love that. It makes the whole thing feel less like a shot in the dark and more like a strategic process.
It is. And it's something that any company, regardless of size or industry, can learn from. You don't need a team of 400 to start implementing some of these principles.
That's reassuring to hear. But for those of us who are just starting to dip our toes into the world of distributed innovation, it can still feel a little overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
That's understandable. It's a journey, not a sprint. But a great place to start is with that 90-day roadmap we discussed earlier from the Leaders Who Scale experts. It breaks down the process of building a more innovative culture into manageable steps.
Right, I'm looking at it now. Month 1 is all about laying the foundation, setting up your digital innovation spaces, getting your team on board with the tools and processes, and establishing clear metrics for success.
Exactly. Month 2 is about activation, launching those cross-time zone brainstorming sessions, implementing your idea management system, and making sure everyone knows how to document and share their ideas effectively.
And by month 3, you're starting to hit your stride, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
It's about acceleration, scaling those practices that are generating results, creating reward systems to keep the momentum going, and maybe even planning your first learning festival.
You got it. It's a simple framework, but it's incredibly effective. And within that framework, there are a few key metrics that I think are particularly important for distributed teams to focus on.
Okay, let's talk metrics. Which ones should we be keeping a close eye on?
One of the most important is cross-team collaboration frequency. It's a fancy way of measuring how often people from different departments are interacting and working together.
Because it's not enough to just have innovative ideas happening in silos, right?
Yeah.
You need that cross-pollination of perspectives to really spark something special.
Precisely. You want to see those lines between departments getting blurry. And the second metric that I think is crucial is the innovation impact score.
Okay, tell me more about that one. What does the innovation impact score track?
It's about measuring the actual impact of your innovation efforts. Are these new ideas translating into tangible results for your business? Are they leading to improved products, more efficient processes, or happier customers?
So it's not just about being innovative for innovation's sake. It's about making sure those innovations are actually moving the needle for your company.
Exactly. By focusing on these key metrics, you can ensure that your distributed team isn't just generating ideas, it's generating impactful innovation that drives real business results.
This has been like seriously eye-opening. We've busted that myth that you got to be in the same room to make innovation happen. We've broken down Spark, and we've seen how InnovateCo with their 400-person remote team are out there crushing it.
And most importantly, I think, we've given everyone listening some real practical strategies and those key metrics, right, that you can start using, like today to build a more innovative culture on your own teams.
Absolutely. So anyone out there feeling fired up, ready to shake things up and unleash that innovative potential, whether your team's fully remote, all in one place, or somewhere in between, what's the one thing you want them to take away from this deep dive?
It boils down to this. Innovation, it's not about where you are, it's about how you work.
Right.
With the right mindset, that framework, and the willingness to try new things, any team can become an innovation powerhouse.
It's about letting go of those old ways of thinking and realizing that the future of work, well, it's flexible, it's agile, and it's distributed.
Exactly. And when you tap into that, possibilities are endless.
Love it. Okay, before we wrap up, got to ask one last question. Thinking back to Spark, which part? Structured serendipity, process evolution, autonomous experimentation, remote collaboration tools, or knowledge amplification? Which one really clicks with you right now? What are you going to try out based on all this?
Great question. And here's something else to chew on while you're at it. When the only thing that's constant is change, being able to adapt and innovate, that's the ultimate advantage. It's not even about keeping up anymore. It's about setting the pace, shaping what's next.
Now, that's a powerful thought to wrap up on. So until next time, keep those ideas flowing, keep pushing the boundaries, and keep diving deep.